When you find out that researchers drilled through Mount Kilimanjaro and discovered a biblical secret hidden deep beneath, you won't believe what long-held enigma they may have unlocked. Hello viewers, today we will talk about biblical secrets. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Let's get started. Mount Kilimanjaro, located in Tanzania, is one of the highest mountains in the world and is located in the eastern region of Africa. Researchers went there to find out why the ice on the mountain is melting, and in the process they surprisingly discovered answers about the globe in ancient times. Mount Kilimanjaro is the tallest freestanding mountain in the world and can be found in Tanzania's Kilimanjaro National Park. It is actually a collection of 3 dormant stratovolcanoes, and as such, it attracts travelers from all over the world who relish the challenge of trekking it. At a height of 5,895 meters or 19,341 feet above sea level, it is the highest point on the continent of Africa. This renowned mountain is home to the summit of the mountain. Researchers found evidence that could support the case of an important biblical character which lived during the time of the pharaohs. Thus, how exactly did scientists make this discovery in the ice cores? The fact is that if scholars want to find out more about any civilizations or gather any other information from hundreds of thousands of years ago, they collect samples from the ice since it holds a record of what our planet was like a long time ago. According to Allegra Legrand of the NASA Goddard Institute of Space Studies, each layer of ice may tell an astounding narrative. Ice cores grow from the weight of each year's snowfall, which eventually creates layer after layer of compressed snow. Because of the increasing pressure, a thick layer of glacial ice is created. The ice layers are capable of trapping particles such as pollen and dust. The smallest bubbles from Earth's atmosphere, like carbon dioxide and methane, press into the ice, where they can later be identified. These particles survive in the ice for extended periods of time, which helps offer physical proof of important events that occurred in the distant past. Scientists who study ice cores, such as those found on Mount Kilimanjaro, sometimes use a combination of technologies, such as satellite and airborne missions, to collect data about snow and ice properties, including information about the structure and layering of snow. According to NASA physical scientist Kimberly Casey, after thousands of years the bubbles become fossil-like and provide an accurate sample of what the atmosphere was like when it was initially formed. The snow uncovered an astounding detail about one of the biblical stories. What was it that drove the researchers to climb the mountain despite the fact that the peaks can have temperatures as low as -20 degrees? The reason for this, according to Fahrenheit, is that researchers have seen that the ice fields have been decreasing in size. They were forced to visit the mountain to take more samples to confirm their initial estimates, and while they were doing that, they stumbled upon some interesting information that seems to have an unbelievable connection to the Bible. The team was led by an American paleoclimatologist, and the mission was to study the rapid melting of ice and understand the exact reasons behind it. Their initial estimates were that at the rate at which the ice was melting, it might eventually be gone for good. Their mission was to understand the exact reasons behind this. Once they arrived there, they had to carry their machinery up the extremely steep hill to the exploration site where it would be used. In total, 92 porters assisted in getting the machinery to where it needed to go. In the end, the team was able to collect 6 cores from Mount Kilimanjaro, which ranged in length from 30 to 270 feet, or 9 to 28 meters. However, their mission was not complete because the ice had to be transported out of the country and back to the university where it was stored. This gave Thompson and his team the opportunity to take their time and carefully investigate the samples for important information. The information could not have been gained in any other way. At this point, they discovered the reason for the shrinking. However, the results were not immediate because the initial set of findings wasn't released until after 2 years had passed. After Thompson and his colleagues had already started the challenging trek, it was disclosed in the publication that in the ice cores, there was evidence of a drought that lasted for 500 years and occurred more than 8,000 years ago. According to Thompson, this occurred during the same time period that a significant proportion of the lakes in Africa dried up. They were able to pinpoint the time of the incident because of the discovery of another drought that took place 5,200 years ago. Ice came from a chemical marker in the ice known as a spike of the isotope chlorine-36, which enabled the researchers to better calibrate historical records using the ice by itself. Nevertheless, what was even more astonishing was the finding of a third drought that might have a direct connection to the Bible. The cores indicate that this drought lasted for 300 years and occurred 4,000 years ago. The events described in verses 37 to 50 took place under the reign of the pharaohs. This is connected to the narrative of Joseph, a dream reader who prophesied what the dreams of the Egyptian pharaoh were, and he predicted that a drought would come that would wreak misery on the Egyptian people. This event is tied to Joseph's account. In conclusion, the story of Joseph is the account of a man who was rejected by his other brothers due to the favoritism shown to him by their father Jacob. It is reported that their father gave Joseph a beautiful purple robe when he was a little boy. It is also recorded in the book of Genesis that once they did this, they went and told their father that their brother Joseph had died while he was a slave. This took place while Joseph was in Egypt. Joseph's ability to correctly interpret the pharaoh's dreams earned him the pharaoh's esteem, which ultimately led to his elevation to the position of one of the most prominent characters in Egypt's leadership. In spite of the fact that no records of the story can be located, it was speculated that it might have been an exaggerated parable. Joseph was able to decipher the meaning of the pharaoh's bizarre dreams. During this time period, Joseph made a prophecy that the Egyptian people would enjoy 7 years of prosperity, followed by 7 years of drought and famine. Joseph's ability to accurately interpret the pharaoh's dreams earned him the respect of the king. In addition to the fact that the drought and hunger mentioned in the Bible were verified by Professor Thompson and his colleagues from Ohio State University, Mount Kilimanjaro is the source of the Nile River, and because of this, many crops and cattle would perish if they were unable to rely on the water that the Nile provides. When researchers chose to examine the cores of Mount Kilimanjaro, they discovered that there had been a significant drought. This coincides with the time frame that was created by Joseph's prophecy, which is mentioned in the Bible. Egyptian historical sources also provided evidence that supported the existence of this drought, which was a factor that threatened the pharaoh's rule. A further incident that took place at the same time as Joseph's account provides additional support for the veracity of the latter. In addition, we know that a canal was built between 1850 and 1650 BC in order to keep the branches of the Nile in a permanently open posture. This allowed water to flow into Lake Huron, which in turn made the land more productive. The canal was created between 1850 and 1650 BC. Because this canal was such a huge success, it is still being utilized to this day. The bar is the only term that has ever been used to refer to the canal, despite the fact that there is no record of who constructed it. This word has been used for a couple of thousand years now. In Arabic, this canal is referred to as Yusuf. Nevertheless, the name Joseph Waterway is used when referring to it in English. It's likely that Egypt's famished population was saved by the construction of this canal as part of a grander scheme. By a certain prime minister with the name Joseph. Was this Joseph Prime Minister the son of King Jacob Knight? This incident marks a critical moment in both the annals of the Israelites' history as well as the history of Egypt's history, regardless of the facts surrounding Joseph's life and the role he played in helping the Egyptians through tough times. That's it for today. Before you go, make sure to check out our channel and hit the subscribe button. Please like and share our videos. Thanks for watching.